don't judge the lack of temperance as of yet as I beat them, because for most of those times, only recently that I've been starting to think that might have been the case. I've never assumed that because, again, 4 years of constant abuse and extreme abuse, as I'm literally ditching through my nail and feeling pain. You understand? And I think you understand this, the point of this. This was not just something that was done to another human being. This was something that was done in well, the things you don't need to explain too much. See why we are waiting on every single video until the very end? Why did I even stop doing that? Case in point for you. So, see if this is how this gets solved. Case in point for you. So, if you thought that there was excessive care, types of ravings of wanglings of a raving lunatic, well, that's what I say. It's so beautiful that I was literally mid-sentence for saying, if you think that, we've beat them, but don't trust that because 4 years of abuse prove otherwise, and that's the first thing you see when you log in. Pretty neat, huh? 1535, is that the last one? Other than obviously the one that just stopped. Where's my? This is offline, by the way. This is just the videos on the phone. There is no reasonable reason. 1534, is that the file? Is that the one? Wasn't 1519? 1535, no, yeah. Why is that 1519? Where's the upload video? So, just so you understand, this is, for you, it's just a bunch of weird things and hacks and a phone being hacked. For me, it's not only the abuses that I go through every single day. This is my life. This is essentially what I do to survive this and start to have a life from a condition of sub-slavery into being a human being. I'm always a person. I was always a person. That's who they targeted, right? They targeted us back home, and they have been doing this throughout. And it may have started up for specific individuals, and those individuals are named by me. Santos Moreira, 64, number 13, the neighbors that got into to be involved, also neighbors on the other side of the house. Our house was 15. Never interacted with any other groups of criminals or any type, period. As far as the drug crimes, as I mentioned before, never in my life used drugs, never had any interest in it. I always believed that I was a particularly smart person, and with that goes the rest. Not Netanya or anyone else, obviously. Actually, it's a good question for you to dive into the neighbors because you already have evidence on them, so you don't need that is not gonna prove disprove. But you see what they say about us, because to me, it's gonna talk about me. I don't need to be the problem. I can be proved what I do and I don't do. But still, they talk about Tanya and Grandmother and everybody else because we already know what they did. So it's pick a poison type situation, but it locks in a story. So really get down racket. My advice. Even with them listening to this, it's not much a solution that they can have. They don't realize that yet. They think they're gonna plan a story and be consistent and other things that they think that they're gonna fool the entire world. By the way, how many times do you see me saying something like they think they're gonna fool the entire world? And how it goes. Okay, now I can guarantee that they're not expecting me to be using this phone. Actually, I was not even sure about that. I thought that they were very clear that I could. That I was going to be like super prepared in the middle of the night. I'm gonna start to organize the files and everything's gonna be good. And then all of a sudden I'm hit with the brutal reality of like drugs. And then I can barely think, I can barely function. I just stumble along. And then I pass out with things stay open, or I have to close everything in a hurry, and I realize the brutal recognition that the abuses, the crimes are so much more overwhelming than I thought that they could be. Because when I say that I'm a guy who has realized this in 2022, even though it was happening since way before that, most criminals like you see in the mall are going to testify to you, probably since when they've been receiving this. what kind of person, who the hell sees someone clearly being abused with drugs and other things and finds it entertaining? Even the things that they fall back home, if they said that things happen that were done by me instead of us being the victim, who finds that entertaining, right? But that could be debatable. After the things you see, they use the same drugs in here, in this city, on the shopping mall, in here. What I am right now, this is Jelson's place, right? Nilson Gautier by 11:57, as it is in all the videos. By the way, today is important to mention the date is the 24th of May, 2026, right? Yesterday, you see many criminals who thought that they were invisible from the ones in the mall who presumably could have thrown quite literally pee at Chip being the tiny kitten whose mother they kidnapped on the 27th. Why this crime started? Because this crime started in April. I'm quite sure that you saw how things kept going from that point onwards. Yesterday, I kept the phone charging from 6 p.m., the power bank charging from 6 p.m. all the way to almost 9, and I got from 8, about 8. And I got up at the table at 9, and the phone was still with 2 lights on and 1 blinking. No, it was 3 lights on and 1 blinking, I think. No, 2 lights on and 1 blinking, the 3rd light blinking, yeah. When I left at night, it was 4 lights on, all 4 lights on, they were fully charged. I thought it was some point in the middle, I don't remember. Recording again. Good day. Being recording video non-stop. Showcase my surroundings non-stop. Since you see the seconds on the screen, right? You see how many seconds stay between videos. In this video, so essentially one contiguous one, just interrupted to prevent them from doing what they just did minutes ago. At this point, my brain stopped. Yeah, at that time, what they did here to prevent that. Oh yeah, by the way, animation uploads. Yeah, I have to pay the Google Drive again because I choose the Google with AI, and I regret that now because if I had chosen the without AI, I probably should be able to keep the plan, but I cannot find the plan anymore. It just says it doesn't exist. Every time I look into it, it tries to shove me down the one with AI, and that one is too expensive. It's $50. I don't know how I'm gonna solve that. $50. I don't need AI. I don't even use it. It doesn't work on this phone as well. And I imagine the other one was 30. I think it was 30. It was 29 something after the things. So ultimately, you'll probably have to pay it. The fact it stopped working yesterday. Yesterday, I'm testifying to was the first day when this happened. Up to the day before, you saw everything being uploaded. You can actually see the uploaded things online. What am I doing? You can see the upload. Jesus, how far was in? You can see the uploaded things online. The 20th, 21st. So all the crimes, everything else properly online. The zipped files, the audio recordings, everything. Okay. And I will never delete a single folder. I will always keep both because I'm never gonna record 2 terabytes. As you saw that, it has been more than you would see. So I'll never get close to 2 terabytes of data. Period. So that's essentially how you have 130 gigabytes, and that is with all the files for all those months starting since I got the phone. So for all the files, we're talking about less than a quarter there for almost a year. Oh, well, yeah, more than 6 months. So we never delete any file. Every file that you see deleted was deleted by the criminals. I bet you that Google keeps track of logs of each file, even if it wouldn't keep the file itself. It keeps logs of the files that existed and they got loaded. Again, it's how law enforcement catches many of those digital criminals, right? So every single thing that would be deleted was deleted by the criminals. I never would delete anything. And I'm not saying that it would be deleted. I'm just saying that if it happens, and again, that's what I'm telling you to work with Google, because if it does and you publish that Another reason Google will have a vested interest to work with you, make sure that other people know that this is no longer a problem with the system, no longer a possibility. It wasn't done by me. I'll never do any of that. And if you think the extra space, or not you know for sure, but the criminals might think that they can hide that with the lack of space, it never deletes. It just you cannot add anymore. So it's plain and simple. It's essentially in the terms of surface. At the end of the day, but it doesn't matter because again we're gonna add up more space recently, but just laying that for you. Okay, so it's all planned ahead of time. No wonder that 25th they had the largest release of narcotics, and although they affect me and they affect the animals as well, I hardly think that would have been a reason why Chip's mom disappears. Next day we have specific places to be in the mall because you have a cat. That day, the 29, because 28 we went there I think, or 29 or 30 or something like that. When we stay close to Burger King. We also leave the phone there charging for hours, just realized the phone hadn't charged at all, the power bank. Same thing as yesterday. Ice cold. You see me saying that in many of those videos are gonna be on YouTube. I should be doing that while we are talking. Although I don't think we can talk for too much longer because it's spaced as you saw. Just me. Okay, sorry. Focus. And at the end, you have the. That was just casual raving of being alone. But the issue is so much though. I don't know where I started. I don't think anything went up to YouTube yesterday, did it? I don't remember. Well, if it is, it's going again. So much, dude. And then you have this as a problem, and then you connect to Wi-Fi, will be a problem, it's alright. This is the wear down that I was talking about before. It's gonna be there. I give you my word, it's gonna be there. But I don't think you're gonna do that in screen recording because yeah. But it's gonna be there because the other's not an option anymore. Chip is still not back. Chip! I wanna make sure that everything else is fine. You know how they do the crimes. You know, drug crimes, animal abuse, physical crimes, as you've seen, assaults in the middle of the night, and the digital ones all mixed together. That's where you see the criminals in the mall bragging. I was talking yesterday about something. I think in the video you see the words about something like, it was the, hey, they can do whatever they want, right? The world is theirs. It's not quite theirs, I mean. You say that the world belongs to the Brazilians and the Argentinians and the Paraguayans, but I'm saying they can do whatever they want. Like grown-up people. Grown-up people can do whatever they want, they just have consequences, right? And I never mentioned that before. You see, you can compare the audios. It's a very rare thing. I might have glass to that. I mentioned that a bit more strongly since yesterday on the other phone only, right? Because this one was deactivated since 2 days ago. And then in the mall, you see, I think no fewer than 5 times. Those videos are going to be on YouTube today. Those criminals that I say by face, coaching that specifically, they had only been on that phone, on that day, and the day before. Not on this phone, just on that. Something I had mentioned in a while. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember the thing. But even if it was either on the same day that they did this phone, which the guy yesterday said it was not to the battery is fine, even though the previous day he said that he was going to leave the battery charging more. But maybe, again, I suppose, much like I talk about Nisei, I have an opinion. Again, I don't lie though, so it's always the thing that and trying to, do some both thing and judge from that what you will. I still not lying, but judge from that what you will. As I was saying, but if you think I'm lying, I suppose that it wouldn't be in no way you're gonna be able to listen to that directly, right? Because it's funny, you might not be listening to that directly on this. I don't know if it was recording audio on that. I know it was recorded. So again, little sparks pushing forward in a sea of drugs and other crimes, dragging down like chains. Again, because this crime wouldn't exist without the drugs. But one thing you don't escape is that all those criminals you saw by face are part of this crime. And not just for casual things like mentioning this random sentence. And even if you notice, and you need just a little bit of a brain to think that I was mentioned there a bit too weirdly, out of place, and consistently, to be just some random thrown out thing, right? In the same minutes, on the other phone, again, which has not been the primary phone since I purchased Hackboy, which is even before this one. And then you see the same things that were happening on this phone as the primary happening on this phone, only today, but only for now. Right? And then they stop happening. Oh no, continue. And this is a bit more normal, I guess. The battery cools down, it gains a little bit extra, it's not a big deal. The fact it happened 3 times after it shuts down on the same point, it's still as hot as before. That matters. That's just one screenshot. I cannot show to you. Yeah, because the little guy is still doing his thing and I don't want to remove it from the charge because, again, it's the one recording the audio to guarantee you listening to what you're listening to. But you might be able to actually physically see as it goes. Ever going to? Today, yet? It's okay, we have all the time in the world. Oh, yeah. That. Except today, instead of happening at this point, it happened right after it shut down, and I took a screenshot of that happening. Never since. Remember I said this thing that happened to this phone was something that was done to it? That was the same thing that happened back home? Never since my phone back in Niterói, I saw this, in Argentina, the one in Niterói, then the iPad, then the one in Buenos Aires. It was the last time. It was the same phone. No. It also happened to Father's phone in Buenos Aires, and it also happened to this phone, I think. Not sure though. It's another phone in Buenos Aires. Might not have been this. Might have been the other one that they stole from me. They stole so much from me in shit country. As I said, when I talk about shit people in shit country, just dive into that, and you're gonna see. If I'm just simply ask you, it's gonna come out a bit pretentious the way that I was gonna phrase it. But I hope that after those 4 years of talking and interacting and trying to expose this war crime, you think better of me than to assume that I would just say that as the same reasons you would have a high Argentinians saying it. If you don't know what a high Argentinian is, you definitely have no clue and have no position to say because it's something that is very staple for my terminology. So make from that what you will. But as I said, more power to them. And I actually wanted them to make those flawed accusations because when you're the abuser and you levy this type of claims against the victim of your open, explicit public abuse, what are we doing? Those things are probably laid down already. Make sure that they cannot escape from them. And after that, flagrant be another word also available there.